And now, ladies and gentlemen, from England, the former two-time back-to-back champion of the world, jackpot, Adrian
Well, there's something special about our MC, John McDonnell, giving it the full two-time back-to-back champion of the world treatment for Adrian Lewis. And could we be about to see something special? Because this match has the potential to be just that. Lewis returning to form, reaching a final on the European Tour stage 2 weeks ago in Gibraltar, to go with some on the floor in 2018 too. He's climbing back up the rankings and heading back towards the top 16 in the world. But he's taken on a man who's done something he hasn't in 2018, and that is win a title. Ted Evetts has won 3 of them, all on the second tier tours, a couple on the development tour, and he leads the order of merit on the PDC development tour for 2018, which is no mean feat if you look at the averages on the Dart Connect system that have been posted by the young players there. He's also won on the Challenge Tour too. Adrian Lewis still hunting his first title of the year. Perhaps it could come this weekend in what has already been a dramatic start to the Danish Darts Open, Rob Malarkey.
Yes, indeed, a very, well, not only dramatic, but entertaining, very absorbing, some terrific matches, but this is the standout match for me. When I looked at the draw last night when I arrived in Copenhagen, Lewis against Evetts, the one that stood out by some way, not just because Adrian Lewis is a two-time champion of the world, but just because of the way Lewis has been going about his business lately, and the fact he is up against one of the brightest young talents on the circuit as well. Adrian Lewis, just to stress where he's at right now, he's obviously come through qualifying for this, but such is his measure right now. He's actually the joint 5th favourite for the title at 22-1, or he was prior to the start of the tournament earlier today. Now, prior to Gibraltar, Lewis had yet to play on the final day of a Euro Tour event this season. Making the final in Gibraltar was certainly a big deal for him. This is his 5th appearance on the Euro Tour this year, but moving in the right direction on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, and his days of having to qualify for these Euro Tour events may well be numbered anyway.
So his record in qualifying this year is exemplary, isn't it? It's fantastic. He's been in the vast majority of European Tour events in 2018, Adrian Lewis.
Well, he's qualified for 5 or 7, but he didn't turn up for the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen because of illness, so that's why he's only appeared in 4 already this year. But yeah, back up to world number 17 in the overall order of merit, the overall world rankings.
Yeah, could well get his top 16 placed back before the cut-off for the match play in Blackpool, a tournament which he reached the final in, and he's reached 3 finals already this year. The Gibraltar Darts Trophy that you mentioned, that defeat to Michael van Gerwen, in fact all of them. He was beaten by Michaels. Mickey Manson and Michael Smith doing him in floor tournaments in Barnsley on back-to-back days.
And we said it as well quite a lot during the commentary and the coverage in Gibraltar, but Gibraltar is a venue that has, that's an awkward one for George Noble to have a look at. I don't think there'll be any appeal here from Adrian Lewis. The points wasn't touching.
I think he had a little jest with George Noble there, if you saw George's response. Close, but not close enough. Bit like that.
Yeah, Gibraltar, a venue that has had a habit of altering the paths of players' careers. The likes of James Wade, Jamie Lewis to an extent as well. And Lewis may well be the latest player to benefit from a good run in Gibraltar. And look at that. Now, back-to-back visits where he's had a point that's not been touching, and then he's had another,
that one, yeah.
He's had another bizarre visit It all means Lewis is on 72 and Evetts is still looking at double 10 here. If Lewis wins this leg, it would be one heck of a steal, and he may well do so. He's crisscrossed those as Evetts, so he's just having to readjust ever so, well, not ever so slightly. He's moved over to the other side of the oche for this one.
Oh, crisscross, then the cha-cha slide to the right. And Lupin's head, he gets a bounce out.
Now what will Lewis do here? Maybe the reverse sweep?
Well, double top will do.
32.
And the reason he's grimaced there is because he probably should have had more darts at double. But for a bit of bad fortune, that's tricky again for Ted.
He may well get more here, Lewis, you never know. Again, he's asking the question that I was about to ask. How's that happened again?
Yeah, how are the darts landing at that angle that is covering the bed? It's not his usual angle of entry, but it's causing some confusion, as you can see there with the expression.
Yeah, the eyebrows of Adrian Lewis tell their own story. And it's a 20-dart break of throw for Adrian Lewis.
Well, if the point hits the double, it doesn't matter the angle of the barrel, does it? Because it's leg over. And the first one goes to Adrian Lewis, and Ted Evetts has already got something in his head. And Adrian Lewis might be smelling blood here. Did notice something interesting during the Players' Championship events in Wigan, and we'll keep an eye on Ted Evetts' action during this match. In a game that I commentated on for Ted last Sunday, he was throwing differently during the match. His action was sometimes slightly staggered, sometimes completely free-flowing and no stagger at all, and sometimes he was mixing it up in the same visits. So it's interesting to watch. Just see what he does here. The first start usually has a bit of a prolonged stagger. Probably the second one will here because he's had to move across slightly, but watch how quickly the third one might go.
41.
And I can understand that if the second dart was perfectly in the treble 20, but it wasn't, needed some adjustment.
Yeah. Good observation, that, Chris.
Thank you.
100.
Well, Adrian Lewis doesn't look totally happy with life at the moment, even though he is one leg to the good. He looks a little bit perplexed at times by what's going on, but
again there, sorry, Ted Evetts' second dart he just threw, and the third one he reverted back to the pause mid-throw. Very, very strange. Surely, I mean, some players are different. I know Gary Anderson always takes a little bit longer over his first dart and then follows with the next two very quickly, but surely repetition is the order of the day.
Rather than mixing it up so much as he has been.
140.
Now there, I thought he slowed it down a little bit between second and third.
Lewis was looking for the 25 there, but it's not going to matter because Evetts is a long way behind in the leg.
21.
A chef by trade before becoming a pro dart player.
I was going to say, he's not still cooking in the kitchens, is he? In the boozer in Warwickshire where he used to work?
Well, I don't have much time playing on the development and challenge tour.
Yeah, he's
and high enough up that he can fill the places on the pro tour now because of the change in qualifying criteria. Lewis looks at half of double top.
The second leg, Adrian Lewis.
Yeah, Ted Evetts was the youngest holder of a PDC tour card after he came through Q School in January of 2016, but he failed to retain that tour card. Once again, mixing things up on the Challenge Tour and Development Tour, but the way things are going, he could well regain his tour card fairly swiftly.
Well, he's in an extremely good position now, because he's getting into Players' Championship events now, due to his performances on the Challenge Tour, and he could end up playing in the Development, Challenge and Pro Tour for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and it could all bode very well indeed. 2 titles on the Development Tour this year, a semi-final and 2 quarter-finals. Last weekend yielded a title and a semi-final, and 1 title on the Challenge Tour, as you said as well, Chris.
Adrian Lewis, we mentioned those finals he's had this year. He had another one at the end of last year as well, October. He was beaten by Rob Cross. Hasn't won a title since April Fool's Day 2017. He beat Dave Chisnell in Milton Keynes, having seen off Michael van Gerwen in the semi-finals. Now, That was kind of a standout moment, kind of. He was mid-slide there, Adrian Lewis, and that sort of papered over the cracks
60.
a little bit. But it was at the Worlds where it all came tumbling down, wasn't it? That defeat at Ali Pali to Kevin Munch.
Yeah. And then he was involved in that incident that led to a suspension at the start of this year, lost his place in the Premier League as well. But in much the same way as James Wade has, you know, Lewis just got on with it, got his head down, put in the hard work, and
39.
the results have duly come, and I'm sure he'll be a player who continues to move in the right direction, and I think that will be well, it won't have gone unnoticed by the PDC as well. And maybe, just maybe, he could
42.
earn his Premier League place back, depending on what happens between now and the end of the year.
Well, I'm sure that anyone who placed a small wager following last year's World Championship for Adrian Lewis to win a third come January 2019 might be feeling like they've got a chance of hitting the jackpots.
43.
By the way, we just saw Rusty Jake Rodriguez in the crowd there, still here watching.
Still here.
Played in the
Long
very
day,
first
Rusty.
match of the day.
Yeah, a long day, Rusty. He might need to rest up for tomorrow.
100.
No resting up here for Adrian Lewis at 180 to get down to a single 4.
So he had a look around and he thought, I'm going to make the crowd roar here. All well and good if he lands this in the double 2, but it might be getting a little bit scratchy if he finds himself in the madhouse.
Or if he hits double 17, for example. I'm sure he won't. He's not a player who tends to stray too far, but he's not found that double 2 yet. And that decision may, well, we'll never know, but Ted Evetts has the chance here to pounce. Lewis not capitalising on that double 2.
But what we did see there is that
You show the third leg, Ted Evetts.
my analysis might have been actually wrong, because Adrian Lewis going for double 2 really hindered himself. His darts do stand up, and when he went low, it was very difficult to hit that target. Might have been better off on double 1 in the end.
Yeah.
However, Evetts has halved the deficits, and it is hot, and you can just tell
134.
a close-up of Adrian Lewis that he might just be struggling in the heat a little bit and wants to get this match done as quickly as possible.
100.
That's the thing with Lewis, though, is such a, you know, such a big name, and obviously the player that everybody wants to see, and he's always going to be given a nighttime billing, isn't he? And it's always going to be at the end of a hot day.
140.
Yeah, and he's
Bigger
played
crowd, it's had a chance to warm up. Still light outside, by the way, 20 past 10, and here we are.
He'll have
The
played
White
in
Knights of Copenhagen.
hotter temperatures, Adrian Lewis, and for longer he's played in match play and World Championship finals. Still one of the greatest showmen in the sport. And still has time on his side, Adrian Lewis, doesn't he, to add
57.
to that title haul, the World Championship, which is the one on which dart players will be judged, come what may.
Yeah, 33 years old is Adrian Lewis. Ted Evetts,
58.
well, 13 years his junior, 20 years old.
107.
21 this summer. Couple of big wins for Ted Evetts in qualifying. Well, big wins in the sense that one of them was against Luke Humphries, who's had a good year so far, and the other against Jamie Lewis, who has good form on the European tour as well.
Semi-finalist at Ali Pali 2 last year.
Of course, yeah.
Now Evetts is poised
60.
to level up, having lost the first 2 legs. Looking like he was struggling to understand the way his darts were landing. Now he's landing them exactly where he wants. Double 16.
42.
Oh, just couldn't have been any closer.
52.
Well, signs that Evetts is just growing into this match, but that said, he finds himself 3-1 down. Missed darts, double 16 to level things up.
Just the odd chance getting away from Ted. That would have been for a break, a very different complexion on this match had he found that with one of those 2 darts. No blame can really be attached to Ted Evetts, because he couldn't have really fit anything between the point of the dart and the wire of the double.
120.
They say the standard. Neither player managing to get really anywhere near the kind of stuff they've been producing of late. I just wonder if the heat and the new surroundings are a little bit of a factor, and the fact that they're probably on stage a little bit later than they expected to.
Yeah, still 2 more matches to go after this one, by the way, so we could be in for we'll certainly be in for a post 11 p.m. finish. Might even be closer to 11:30 by the time we wrap things up. Max Hopp on the way in the final match of the night after Brian Lucan and Cristo Reyes, the Spanish #1. Interesting as well, Lewis, just going back to Gibraltar again, when he was interviewed after his opening round win against Clayton Otten, Dan Dawson, interviewing Adrian on stage, posed the question and put the scenario to him that he was in a really tough section, the quarter of death, I think Dan Dawson called it. And Adrian Lewis, I liked his confidence. He just said, well, do you know what, I'm not a bad player myself. And when you look at who he beat Mental Sulovic, the Champions League winner, 6-3, beat James Wade with an average of 106 almost. Wade himself averaged over 105 as well. Then he beat Peter Wright, and then he had that terrific encounter when he had to withstand that brilliant fight back by Paul Nicholson in the semis to set up that long-awaited rematch with Michael van Gerwen, which he lost 8-3, just run out of steam in the final.
141.
And Van Gerwen,
four consecutive major champions, isn't it?
yeah. So certainly brought out the best of Adrian Lewis, but I think whoever he played last time at Gibraltar, he just had that confidence about him, and he typified that, he illustrated that with the interview that he gave on day one. And it will be interesting to see what he says after this one if he comes through.
We've got 95 left, so choices here for Adrian Lewis. He could look at the ball. He might go treble 19. But he did 2 doubles now.
79. Federico 144.
Well, Lewis just hoping now that Evetts does not take this out, otherwise Lewis has a great chance for a break of throw for a 4-1 lead. Another break of throw it would be.
You require 16.
Double 8 then. And I know it's a long way away, but Dan Dawson kind of accidentally predicted Adrian Lewis to reach the final at this stage in Gibraltar. It would be great if Adrian Lewis were to win this weekend, because then you've got Rob Cross, Peter Wright, Adrian Lewis, all winning titles just before the match play. With Gary Anderson and Michael van Gerwen having already hoovered a load up this year.
Yeah, it would tee it up very nicely indeed. Not quite sure he's in a quarter of death this weekend, although James Wade is in the same quarter as Adrian Lewis, and Michael Smith awaits the winner of this one as well, #2 seed this weekend.
Yeah, another man who's won titles in 2018.
100.
And Stephen Bunting and Joe Cullen, the other seeds in this particular bracket as well.
Does mean that he's in the opposite half of the draw to the #1 seed, of course, Michael van Gerwen, so the possibility of a rematch in the final.
100.
And he could play Peter Wright again as well in the semi-finals. Anyway, lots of darts to be played before we can start talking about those rematches. Lewis has to get the job done here as well. He's in good shape though. He leads by 4 legs to 1.
It's the second time he's played Ted Evetts, and the last time Adrian Lewis won 6-1.
Yeah, that was in a UK Open qualifier 2 years ago.
100.
Same outcome could be incoming. Adrian would fancy wrapping this leg up in 15, although perhaps not now.
45.
He only managed to leave.
The
The same check out that Ted Evetts is going to step forward and try and take out. He's not going to.
'87. Adrian, you require 161.
Same equation. He's on his way. Oh, that's unfortunate. Wrong side of the wire.
89.
Allowing Ted a chance, and you will feel that all these little chances that Ted Evetts has been given in this match, he hasn't taken any of them. This one surely has to go.
Top 10 for Evetts for a break back.
34.
Same old story.
Asian Unicorn 72.
Very nicely done by Adrian Lewis, double 12, one more dart in hand.
60.
Gave himself the best possible chance. Now, missed darts at double 16 in the fourth leg. He's got opportunities again here at tops, and this time he makes it pay. And it is a break back. He's still got work to do, but that's a good response by Ted Evetts.
Game on.
Surprising, perhaps, that he is only playing in his first European Tour event of the year. Made his European Tour debut at the German Darts Championship at the end of 2016. He beat Chris Dobie 6-2 in his first round match.
I remember he really burst
5-0 up in that,
yeah.
5-0 up in that match and came through before losing to Kim Huybrechts. He took 4 legs off Kim Huybrechts, and that was when Kim Huybrechts was in really good form as well on the European Tour.
Did he not fly back and play in the development tour the following day?
Yeah, very early as well.
It was when Alan Norris won the title, I believe.
It was indeed, yes.
Alan Norris, who
beating Yellow Classic,
got married in Gibraltar during the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, despite not being in the tournament. Congratulations to Alan. He did fancy his chances of qualifying, because I think he booked the wedding venue for 10 a.m. He's going to go and play darts in the afternoon. He had to sit and watch instead.
57.
a honeymoon to savour.
But it is an example, isn't it, of how hard it is to qualify for these events. The likes of Alan Norris struggling to at the moment.
60.
Just shows how quickly it can turn. Those seeded places are all important. The 116 players holding them at the moment join the action tomorrow, including some of the men we've mentioned: Michael Van Gerwen, Michael Smith, Rob Cross, Peter Wright.
83.
Yeah, the lineup for the second round almost complete. 16 seeds joining the competition tomorrow, including Michael Van Gerwen, the world #1 and the world champion Rob Cross. 157 for Lewis. Now in Gibraltar, another feature was he went very close on big finishes, on three-figure finishes, but always seemed to hoover up in the next visit.
He's forcing Ted to take this out. 101. Or an uphill task becomes a mountain.
Yeah, and it ain't going to go
69, Adrian Unicorn 24.
for Evetts. Well, Lewis, double 12 was a bit of a problem last time in the previous leg, but not on this occasion.
Adrian to throw.
And having suffered a break of throw, Lewis breaks back straight away. Very much in keeping with the style of a two-time world champion. Although he was kicked off here with 22 with his first two darts.
Yeah, I know Ted Evetts had a half chance there, but that was impressive from Adrian Lewis. Having just been broken, could have become embroiled. Now he knows he needs just one leg before Ted Evetts gets 4. And he's booked his place in the second round.
55.
Well, that was a shame from Evetts, because Lewis was sluggish there, 41 with his first 3. Evetts not really making the most of that.
95.
Neither player is going to win performance of the day for this. We can't sugar the pill on that one, but it's all about being in the tournament, isn't it? And Adrian Lewis, if you can get over an off day, could be very, very dangerous in the draw. Performance of the day has to go, surely, to Manas Razma for what he did this afternoon.
Yeah, the strongest candidate for that particular market today. Man of the day so far, but there is time for somebody else to make an impression. Maybe, just maybe, Brian Lucken could give the Danish fans something to cling to this weekend as well.
Well, he'll certainly get
75.
some vociferous support, because Per Lawson did, but a lot of that was down to the antics of Steve West.
Well, Reyes may well respond in a very different way.
Yeah, he's not
140.
got that kind of attitude, Christo. Well, I've not seen it if he has.
Yeah, Lewis looking good here, 91 away.
59.
And no pressure whatsoever from Ted Evetts. And Lewis has just been, well, the path has been smoothed even more for him here. Just taking his time though.
Treble 17. Well, I'm surprised there.
Top slope.
71.
See the bull route used on that combination when your opponent's on a checkout, not normally when they're not.
100. Adrian, you require 20.
So, Adrian Lewis. Perplexed look on his face as he misses double 10 with his first answer and his second. He's squinting, trying to find a way through. Is the road blocked for the time being? Yes, it is.
Well, he made a good fist of that. That would have been the dart of the day. That was a little bit like what happened to Ted Evetts early on.
1-1-2 for Evetts to keep himself going for the time being. 52 away now. So tops for the 20-year-old. Well, very nicely done. Adrian Lewis missing match darts. And a 1-1-2 checkout from Ted Evetts just keeps himself going, and he's really enjoying that moment as he shares it with the crowd.
Well, he got a little touch of the fist from Adrian Lewis there, who must feel a little bit like he did against Paul Nicholson in Gibraltar a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Lewis is always quick to acknowledge when players have put in a good visit like that, and you know, clearly Evetts is fighting hard here.
I think it says something about his mentality, because he just thinks, well, all right, that's a good shot, but I'll get you this leg.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of
59.
defeatist attitude. Oh, why does it happen to me?
Just wants to make sure he's the master of his own destiny once again. Just let his darts do the talking, get himself back into a good position. Although, once again, Lewis has not really got out of the blocks in this leg. And Evetts once more not able to build.
Seems to be a trend in the match, a kind of following each other in.
100.
Lewis falters, Evetts unable to take advantage. Lewis hits something big, Evetts manages to cling on.
Well, look at this, it was...
Except on this occasion.
98 after 6 darts,
20
plus the bed and breakfast, and this is maybe a leg to forget for Ted Evetts, but it could well be the last leg of the match as well. But Lewis not really hammering home his authority
26.
and making hard work of this. He's got the advantage, but it could have been so much more.
Well, dart players never know why they can't take that practice game onto the big stage at times, but this pair were due to be all staged at 9:30 by the schedule, and we're over an hour later than that now. But all of a sudden, Adrian Lewis finds it. He's found it all right. I think he's just had enough, Rob.
And a very lackadaisical acknowledgements of the crowd there from Adrian Lewis.
He's going to go out from there in 6 starts, isn't he? He's going to take out the 1-1-6 and say, I'm sick of this.
70.
What's the quickest way to get off stage? I know, 180 followed by 116 checkout. The script has been written.
Well, it may well have been. Tops for Adrian Lewis.
76.
There's always a twist in every good drama.
There is always a twist. There could be another twist here. He's already taken out a 1-1-2 to get back to 5-3. Can he take out the 1-6-7? No, he can't. And surely now Adrian Lewis will wrap up
94. Adrian,
this match. Hasn't quite hit the heights that we perhaps anticipated, but Adrian Lewis won't really care too much about that. It's job done, or it nearly is job done. It's mission accomplished now. And a win is a win. Adrian Lewis satisfying the need purely and simply to get over what was potentially a very tricky hurdle to secure his place in round 2 of the Danish Darts Open. Nothing to write home about as far as the averages are concerned, but like I say, Lewis won't really care too much about that. He is safely through, and for Ted Evetts, his first foray into Europe this year ends in a first-round defeat at the hands of the two-time world champion Adrian Lewis. It'll be interesting to see how Lewis assesses all of that. And a reminder once again, our next match of this elongated night features Cristo Reyes, Spain's #1, and Denmark's host nation qualifier, Brian Luke.
Congratulations, Adrian. Superb last time out in Gibraltar, made it all the way to the final, carrying on.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, touch wood. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Ted didn't really get going tonight. It was a tough game. And you know, we're a bit under pressure, to be honest. I didn't realise the crowd was going to be this big.
Well, it's going to get even bigger this weekend. And, I mean, Denmark's always had a long tradition in darts, but this might be a first for you, is it, playing here?
First time ever, but yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fantastic, you know. It's, I'm actually gutted because it cost about 20 quid a fine, so, you know. No, I didn't say that.
Adrian Lewis, his first time playing darts in Denmark, looking to put on a show for you guys this weekend. Safely through to the second round, jackpot, looking to claim his first Euro Tour title for a number of years, a two-time world champion.